Well, the year 2020 has been described as an unpredictable ride through the COVID-19 pandemic. With people having lost loved ones, many are optimistic that 2021 will be a better year. They are hoping to see an end to COVID-19 and lockdowns. To help us understand people's behaviour and how the pandemic has affected their overall mood, I'm now joined by well-being economist Talita Greyling. Talita, thanks indeed for joining us. And I mean, we're speaking now about that happiness index that was released not so long ago. I suppose before we get into the emotions of people, what is the value of assessing the emotional well-being of a country's citizens? Surely it goes to something.
This is really, really important, and we will see the developments over the last few years where it has been recognized that the mood of a nation is very important, and to know what the mood of a nation is. Now, from an economic perspective, if your main aim is to increase the well-being of a nation, which we will find in most of your it's the aim of most regulations and policy measures, then how do we know if we actually did meet this criteria of maximizing the well-being of a nation if you can't measure it? So all that we are doing is actually measuring the well-being from a subjective point of view, and actually starts asking a person, how well are you, or how happy are you, or how satisfied are you with your life? And an answer to that will give a good sort of indication at where's the well-being of a country.
So what then do we make of the latest results of this index? I mean, you say the lockdown has stolen the happiness and joy of the festive season. Some people may argue you didn't need an index to tell you that. Nevertheless, it's of value, isn't it?
It is definitely of value because we can say with how much it affected a person. So there might be a feeling that it increased or decreased happiness, but how do we know? So scientifically, we need a measure. And what we've seen over the last few years, very interesting, we've been measuring this index since April 2019. And we have seen a lot of patterns typical to South Africans. And often on public holidays, we find an increase in happiness, and we saw the same. We saw an increase in happiness on the 25th of December, so Christmas Day, and we saw the same or similar surge on the 1st of January, as expected. But there were some interesting things that we picked up. So normally we also analyzed the emotions of tweets, and we saw that although the happiness index in itself increased on the 1st of January, normally we will find that joy correlates with this, and we didn't find this. So from the happiness index or the mood measure, we found that it increased, and most of that was due to people wishing other people the best wishes for 2021, or a positive outlook for 2021. But if we looked at the emotion of joy, it didn't gain much. It didn't move with the evaluative mood. And sadness normally will move in the opposite direction, and we also didn't see that. Sadness stayed at a relatively high level. And when we actually analyzed the tweets, we saw that people were really sad about people or their lost ones, and were thinking about them on the 1st of January.
That's a very interesting thing, because on closer inspection of that particular angle there, you would see that your analysis showed that tweets of people who expressed dismay over losing loved ones, some through to COVID-19. Also, people very angry about the fact that, I see one interesting point here, was that alcohol sales were banned. Tell us about that.
Interesting. We read through many of these tweets. We extract all tweets South Africans make during a day, and there's 60,000 of them. So if we actually want to go and see what is the reason behind what we found in our calculations, we sit and read through those tweets. And you can see the anger of people. A lot of people were really angry because they couldn't get alcohol. And the sense of humor, I suppose, when they make the tweets, they don't see it as humorous, but when you read it afterwards, you can really see they are disappointed, they're mad, they're angry, also because they were stopped to have any social gatherings. So your normal New Year's party didn't happen. A lot was said about fireworks as well. There were no fireworks in the sky. Tweets similar to that really showed anger and sadness about the situation of the lockdown.
All right, thanks very much indeed. Very interesting concepts there with that happiness index. That was Talita Greyling, a well-being economist.